Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 20th. And we started off the other day with a nice little spike up, and it quickly reversed itself. Not a shock in this particular area, and it's sort of tiring to have to tell you that we're just trading sideways until there's some kind of momentum move. We have reset completely. We just don't have a turnaround buy. Short-term buyers in this particular case have crossed over Cyan. That should give us enough to push back. And I think we start to see that already developing first thing here. We're still caught in this malaise right here, and it's just visually easy to see when you have that orange trapped right in the middle. NQ slightly outperformed, and in fact it's close to having a positive shakeout, but again, here's the problem. And you'll see this intraday as well work very effectively. The orange did not cross below, but began to pivot above. That's all fine and dandy until the steel crosses back below, and that will be the trigger for a sell signal. Until that point, we're not quite. Here we have the euro growing confidence that it looks like everything will be happy as far as the French election, which happens this weekend. Central banks have done a very good job, and we talked about this the other day, but actually I should just draw the line. We talked about the rising lows going through here. Click. And you can see it, but every time we reach the critical threshold, I mean, we've been drawing this line for so long. It's not even funny to think if I shrink the chart, we would have a chance to look. It goes way back into last year completely. And we're still in that range. We were still expecting somewhere in that 110 range as a normalized baseline. But that does depend on how things go. If there's a shock, there's still plenty of room because of this rise to allow the euro to come right back down to the same fail-safe. So it's sort of a protective zone being pre-built in. Bonds still don't understand why, but hey, that's okay. Now the key for this one on the turn will be when the Azure and or blue stop their rise, and then we have a DOC spread. That would be your indication that that rally has faded. We talked just even the other day about the ridiculousness of oil and how gas supplies are just through the roof. They're just going to have problems putting them in places. Here you can see we popped above the plus 13. Not a big question about what happens then. Usually you get your decline. So that happened the other day, and sure enough, boom. No real positive extremes to fill, but we do have a couple of dips below the red line right down in here, which were tested. So now it's just going to be, actually we could put our fib retrace on here, and you would have the exact lines of where it takes us, and I think it's right around the 50% at this particular point. Turning to gold, a little bit of a soft patch there as we ended up with the steel moving below, but way down low, a spike up here. We also had the same configuration with the move above the 13.5, and sure enough, it produces just that gentle weakness. It was a good indication. We had a lot of fun with this chart yesterday. This is the 5K. So way back before yesterday, we ended up with the reset of the new ABM, and came across, it was kind of flat. Would not have been surprised if someone had just, faded out of it as it got a little weaker. But we ended up with another reset, which pretty much right at the exact same spot. That led to a nice rally, which we talked about. But then we got to the point right here, and I posted this one where we popped up above 13.5. It was time to let go. And then it was interesting because we came down, and it looked like it was about to build, but the orange did not cross below the red and left it in the continuation zone. And usually at that particular point, fairly easy to look for it there. Then you can just look for the steel to go across the cyan, and that led to the start of it. And then boom, we did get a reset all the way down here. That turned out to be what I thought was going to be the start of a cover point. Turned out all we did was end up continuing all the way down. We did get a reset here right at the start of pre-market, and that's actually doing fairly decent. It was a nice turnaround pull. So we're right at the 50%, so that'll be a key point right here to see if it's able to break out and move back up above. So pretty much it's just a lack of liquidity that causes a little drawdown and gets everyone out, and then they take advantage of that low volume and pop it right back up to where it was, pretty much even with exactly where the first reset came in on the turnaround. So in net zero. But needless to say, still, it's worth noting these because it's powerful from the standpoint of being able to see when we're going to get a failure. And then the buyback was nothing more than just a weak opportunity for some short cover, and all it did was allow shorts to add into it because we didn't get that full reset. Now, we did get the full reset down at the bottom here, came across, but it couldn't even get to the short algo. And you can see following that short algo all the way through, we didn't have a close above until literally this last signal right before it reset. And so it still becomes a valid point. Sure, you can try and capture early moves, or alternatively, when I don't have that, I'll use the 23% line, and then you have that to play it against. So another option there. So it gives you a couple of different ways to look at it. As always, though, could you look for me on the Skype chat? Trade well.